Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Saturday the 15th of January 2022. Now, it was gung-ho performance today, but we lost through, you could say, an individual error. And yeah, here you go. Mill 0, Nottingham Forest 1. This is from news@den.co.uk. Mill's miserable start to 2022 continued after they suffered a third consecutive defeat in all competitions following the injury time Lewis Grabban strike against Nottingham Forest. The Lions were guilty of missing some golden opportunities and were made to pay on 91 minutes when the former Mill striker tapped home from close range. Benikofobi could have snatched it for Mill seconds earlier, but he was unable to continue his recent goal scoring form, and Gary Rowett's side slipped 9 points behind the top sticks. Match action, just like against Crystal Palace last weekend, Millwall flew out of the blocks with chances aplenty in the early exchanges. First, Afobe looked to score for a third game on the bounce, stung the palms of Bryce Samba in the Forest net before Scott Malone was unable to quieten the travelling support that would boon his every touch when he blasted over. Everything seemed to be going the Lions' way until the 26th minute when Tom Bradshaw hobbled off with a knee problem as was replaced by Mason Bennett. That didn't stop Mill in their tracks, but Rowett's team were applying plenty of pressure with little to show for their dominance. Up the other end, Forest could have gone ahead when Grabban picked out Ryan Yates, but he was only able to fire straight at Bartosz Białkowski with the goal gaping. Danny McNamara was then required to head a Grabban effort on the line as Steve Coopers' men ended the opening period in the ascendancy. Moments earlier, Shea Yojos was limping, and following lengthy treatment, he was replaced at half-time by Ben Thompson, who made his first league outing since September. And on 69 minutes, Thompson should have broken the deadlock when he was picked out expertly by Bennett, but his rustiness showed when he failed to test Samba. Grabban could have done the same up the other end, but his creative finish was straight at Białkowski before Keenan Davis fired into the side netting. Grabban was in the thick of the action again with 11 minutes left when his header was brilliantly kept out by Białkowski following a flurry of Nottingham Forest chances in a sustained period of pressure, but Mill somehow managed to keep their clean sheet intact. Forest almost scored 2 minutes from time when Brennan Johnson looked to have picked out Grabban, but Sean Hutchinson was in the right place to make a crucial interception from almost under his own crossbar. Afobe had a glorious chance just as the clock ticked towards 90 minutes. Bennett used his pace to retrieve a seemingly lost ball before standing up inch perfect cross for the on-loan Stoke man. It was denied by an excellent reaction save from Samba. Then in added time, Grabban made Afobe and Mill pay when he turned home after Philip Zickernackle's shot had been saved by Białkowski. Tom Bradshaw's luck runs out. The last couple of months could have hardly gone better for the former Barnsley striker. He's gone from being in and out of the team to one of the first names on the team sheet and a regular on the scoring sheet. On Friday, Bradshaw was rewarded for scoring 5 straight championship games with a new long-term contract. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to celebrate his new deal by scoring in a 6th league game on the bounce after he was forced off through injury midway through the first half. He was able to walk off, which is a good sign, but Bradshaw appeared to injure his knee when sliding for a ball. With games coming thick and fast, Rowett will be hoping to receive some good news on that front. The return of Ben Thompson. It has been a strange season for the Lions Academy graduate, who almost became the forgotten man in SC16. It's been 4 months since he was last seen in the first team environment. In that period, he's played a number of games for the under-23s. But with Jed Wallace still out, Jón Daði Böðvarsson unavailable, and Dan Ballard and Ryan Leonard still sidelined, Thompson was involved for the first time since the Carabao Cup tie against Leicester in September. You have to go back another month to the last time that the midfielder got minutes in the Championship. When Ojo wasn't able to continue at the break, Thompson was the man that Rowett turned to for just his 5th competitive outing this season, but it was an unhappy ending for the Lions as Grabban once again came back to haunt his former club. The ghost of Grabban passed. And how's your luck? No, Tom Bradshaw's luck, our luck. Our luck. He's scoring goals. He signs a new contract, and then boom, he seems to be injured, and it seems to be quite bad. What are you going to do? What can you do? So news@den.co.uk with some reaction from Gary Rowett Mill boss Gary Rowett fears that Tom Bradshaw suffered a serious injury after he went off in a 1-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest on Saturday. Bradshaw hurt his knee in the 28th minute and was replaced with Mason Bennett. Bradshaw, 29, suffered cruciate ligament damage in 2018. He signed his new deal with the Lions this week. Jed Wallace, the subject of bids from Forest, was ruled out for injury, as was George Saville. It's a bitter pill to swallow, Rowett said. That's championship football, isn't it? If the game becomes end-to-end for different reasons, what you've got to do is take your chance. We had a couple of really good ones in the second half. What you can't do then is make silly decisions. Not long before it, we take a short corner and it's a point where you just put the ball in the box and see if we can get to the end of something. Mason's run 60 yards across the pitch. He's on the backside on the floor. We take a throw in and there's only Benekophobia up there. We lose the ball and they end up going up and scoring. It's just little moments in the game that perhaps we need to manage a little bit better. Whether that's the individual player doing it or other players around, just say hold it, wait. I appreciate we want to win the game, but there's got to be a chance of winning that game in that moment. Otherwise, you see what happens, you lose the game. I thought first half we were the team in the ascendancy, the better team. We had some good moments and chances early on, some good opportunities on goal, and the keepers made a couple of really good saves. We had a bit of a challenge yesterday because there were two players who were waiting on PCR tests who couldn't train. They finally got them through negative this morning, so they were available, but they hadn't trained. We lost Saville yesterday to injury. We lost Jed to injury, but it didn't look too serious. So we had to think on our feet a little bit in terms of one or two positions on the bench to change the game. What you can't afford to do in that situation is lose two attacking players. To lose Tom Bradshaw to what looks like a serious injury, he felt something pop in his knee. I'm hopeful that's not too bad, but doesn't look great. Shea has rolled his ankle just before half time and couldn't continue in the second half. We tried everything we could second half to see if we could win the game. Maybe just that ability to keep the attacking players on for Forest and then be able to add that late on in the game with a little bit more energy gave them the moment to win the game. I'm disappointed because I thought there were so many positives to take out in the game. Forest had more of the game second half. I thought they looked quite dangerous at times, but I still think it's a game we deserve something out of. We didn't get it because we made a poor decision. It was an entertaining end-to-end game where both teams were trying to do their bit to win the game. So that's what happens sometimes. Steve Cooper will be coming in and I'm sure will be absolutely elated that they've taken 3 points. For us, it's a real disappointment because you worked so hard all season. We played so well recently, but I haven't had the rub of the green and results to match our performances. I thought it was another really strong home performance, even if we're coming away a bit disappointed. But take away a point from the game, there are so many positives. When you lose a game in the 92nd minute, it feels like a bit of blow. Listen, that's football. You've got to do the right things all game. Today we probably made one crucial error and they punished for it. So far they don't seem to have made that quite clear. What happened was similar to the Leicester Cup game where Ryan Leonard threw it to Jake Cooper and that messed it up. He got pressured and ball taken off him. They scored. Scott Malone threw the ball to Benekophobia when the ball was near the halfway line in their half, and he just took the throw in too quickly, and it was just Benekophobia, and he was already being pressed. He threw it to his chest, and he was to his chest midsection, and he was already being pressed from behind before the throw was taken. And he got the ball taken off him. They broke on the counter. And there's only so many times you can be lucky. I mean, Bart made some brilliant saves today, kept us in the game, and Danny McNamara as well. Really, really good stuff from Danny McNamara defensively. Coming across for some reason, he was on the front post defending some stuff. Even though he plays on the right, I don't know why that was, but what are you going to do? So Rowett was asked for more detail on Wallace's injury. He replied he's had a little quad strain. He trained Tuesday and Thursday and just felt his quad on Friday. He's had it scanned. I don't think it's particularly serious, but there's something there to concern him. Sav was his neck, nothing serious, but again, to lose two players like that and to lose two within the first half of the game was a really difficult situation to be in. We've spoken about strengthening the group in this window, trying to bring at least one attacking player in, and that might make a little bit different. That we might need to bring in 2 or 3 now, because of course a couple of injuries like that can put you on the back foot. So yesterday I told you Gary Rowett's pre-match conference, he said 100% Jed Wallace will be playing, which why I made my pre-match prediction of that we win that game 2-0, that I thought this was like Roy the Rover stuff for Jed Wallace. He could come in, win the game for Millwall, and then walk off into the sunset, getting his money, getting paid. But not to be. Now, if he felt he wasn't fit enough to make an impact in the game, then maybe it's only fair that he's let it be known that's the situation with him. So we'll see. But are we going to see Jed Wallace play for Millwall again? Now we go away to Blackpool, and then we've got the home game against West Bromwich Albion. And Jed Wallace could be gone by then. Now maybe Jed Wallace, is he injured? Is he injured? I don't know. He's saying he's injured, and they go out saying, hey, he's had it scanned. So he's obviously added that in to say he didn't just say he was injured. We've had it looked at. So he's made a point of making a point there, saying he didn't cry off. We actually checked it out. But that's the difficulty. If Nottingham Forest are the only ones making bids for him so far, no one else is putting any concrete offers in for him. If he comes in and plays well against Forest and basically wins the game for Millwall, diplomatically that's going to be difficult for him going forward. If he does end up in Nottingham Forest, so I can understand why he wouldn't want to play against them, but it is a difficult situation for everyone involved, isn't it? Moving on to this, you can't make silly decisions. Gary Rowett on Mill's 1-0 loss to Nottingham Forest. This is basically the quote that we've already read, I think. We were the team in the ascendancy in the first half. We were really a better team. We had some good chances earlier, and the keepers made some really, really good saves. Yeah, their keeper, I'm assuming, still. We tried everything we could second half to try and win the game. Yes, we've just read this. Yeah, when you lose a game in the 92nd minute, it feels like a bit of blow. Yeah, we've read that in the News of Den report. I think we've read this as well. Yeah. Yeah, basically word for word. This is already all in the News of Den report. So there you go. That's what happens when you have two publications competing for the Millwall eyeballs, and News of Den put it in one story and South London Press put it in two. But we do have this from londonnewsonline.co.uk, South London Press's online website, where they say they've got a quote from the opposition manager, Steve Cooper. So Steve Cooper refused to comment on Nottingham Forest's interest in Jed Wallace after the Millwall attacker missed today's match between the two clubs. The 27-year-old had trained earlier in the week, but then complained of a quality issue. Scan results showed a slight tear. When asked by the South London Press if he was able to comment on Forest's attempt to sign Wallace, Cooper said, "I'm not too sure. I don't get involved in that part of the club. I'm the head coach. I just focus on the boys that turn up to the training ground every day, and particularly the ones that are fit and available, to try and get the best out of them for the next game. We only focus on ourselves, to be fair. You come up against a lot of championship teams that have got a lot of good players. I worked with Shea Yaljo at Liverpool when he signed from MK Dons. He was good in the game. I know he came off injured, and I hope it's not too bad for him because he's a really good player." Asked if it was a bonus that Millwall did not have one of their star players, Wallace, to face Forest, Cooper replied, "You know you're going to come up against really good players, and if you think too much about the opposition, then maybe you don't do your own job right, and we have to focus on ourselves. I hope so in terms of getting business done in the window, but we'll see. There's no guarantees on anything. If there is great, but I'll only ever talk about the players that I'm working with every day. That's where my allegiance lies. It seems like he's buttering up Shea Ojo for a move in the summer there as well. Maybe they're going to get Shea Ojo in at the end of the season, maybe. But another thing, if Wallace does have an injury, will a club sign him with an injury? It's not a knee, it's not something. It's not a knee, it's not an ankle, it's not a broken bone. It's just a muscle tear. But would you sign someone that was injured? No, means he might not be going anywhere. Might not be going anywhere. That is now the game today was delayed by 10 minutes. And here's the reason why. Fan medical emergency hits football match again. Another troubling incident has taken place at a game in England. This is from RT.com. In a season plagued by fans falling ill in the stands, yet another English football match has been delayed because of a medical emergency. The second-tier game between Millwall and Nottingham Forest, just 2 weeks after a fan collapsed in the crowd during Tottenham's Premier League trip to Watford. London club Millwall announced that kick-off in a championship clash at home to Forest will be delayed on Saturday. Mystified fans reacted with alarm on social media after lines revealed that the game at the Den in the south of the capital would be put back by 10 minutes with medics attended to the stricken supporter. Similar worrying hold-ups have been eerily frequent in England and other countries this season, continuing into 2022 after rarely being witnessed in previous years. Indeed. And they've got tweets here. And then they talk about the situation. Millwall did not issue an immediate update about the condition of the supporter who was affected, and anxious fans were quick to wish the individual well. One writing, hope whoever it was makes a full recovery. Indeed, we don't even know the situation. Now they're guessing it's an heart attack because they're assuming it's related to the virus or to the vaccine to the virus. Because a lot of people are having heart attacks, myocarditis, pericarditis, and similar such incidences, and especially young men, healthy young men, football players indeed, are collapsing and dying of myocarditis, heart attacks, young, healthy men. Christian Eriksen, similar. I don't know if that was related to him. That was quite a while ago. But it is worrying, and there is a trend there. But another thing that it might be is population is getting older and older. So maybe this is something that's happening. Don't know. I do know that it's very worrying, and I hope the fan involved is okay. But it's very rare because at Millwall Football Club they generally don't delay the game. We've had thousands of people stuck outside waiting for tickets, queuing up for tickets, to collect tickets, and the game's gone on 3 o'clock kickoff as normal. They don't wait for no one. So to have the game delayed, maybe it's indicative of they're actually taking it more seriously now. I know defibrillators have started popping up in public places like train stations and whatnot. Although I don't know what you're going to do with that. I mean, does anyone know how to use them? But yeah, so we don't know. Maybe we'll find out that the person involved is okay. I don't know. I hope they are. We wish them well. but we'll see. Now this happened before the game as well, so you can't really blame the football. But anyway, there you go. So moving on now to non-game related stuff. This Iceland versus South Korea. Böðvarsson earlier this week scored against the mighty Uganda. His first goal in over a year. And Iceland had another game in Turkey, this time against South Korea. And Jón Daði Böðvarsson did play, although he was on the bench, so he came on in the 63rd minute. There you see, there's no ratings for this, but they were, by the time he come on, they were already losing 3-1, and they ended up losing 5-1. So there you go. So, what does that mean for Böðvarsson though? Will he still be leaving? We've got Bradshaw seemingly injured, so we have to wait on that. We've had interest from Bolton for Böðvarsson, and there was a possibility that he could be leaving. What do we do now? Do we keep Böðvarsson, play him? To be honest with you, I would rather we recalled Isaac Olofi and played him, and he could play in the Bradshaw role. Will he score as many as Bradshaw? I don't know. Hopefully he might do, but he could be the one to run around and pressure up front. It's certainly something that he can do quite well. He's done it for Sutton United, but Böðvarsson's days do look to be numbered. But seeing he was given permission to go away with Iceland while we're still playing games. But there you go. So he played again today. He had 20 minutes. And we'll see what comes of that. But everything seems to be up in the air now with our injuries and messing up the situation. Now we've also got this. This came out this morning, so from news@n.co.uk. Millwall recalled defender from season-long loan spell at Scottish Premiership side St Johnstone. Not surprised really. He started off quite well, playing in a few games. Then he was dropped to the bench, then out of the squad altogether, and then back to the bench. So, and St Johnstone are bottom of the league, and not looking good for them. So Millwall have recalled defender Hayden Muller from Scottish Premiership side St Johnstone. Muller, 19, played 8 times for former Lions assistant Callum Davidson Saints this season. Muller joined the Saints on the season-long loan last summer. Millwall will now assess the options for Muller, with another loan looking the likelier option indeed. And it probably means they've already had one lined up, because they wouldn't recall him, I don't think, without another club lined up, because they did that to Dan Moss. They recalled him on one day, and the day later he was out again to Leyton Orient. So we'll see where he goes. Now you see he's been playing at St Johnstone. Do they go for League 2 or do they go for Conference? We don't know. But again, another one you have to wait and see. So overall, disappointing day for Mill today. You can see there we are in the table. We're now 4 points behind Nottingham Forest. So we are mid-table now, and I think that's where we're going to finish. That's it. We've literally as the game was going to its end, it was 0-0, and I thought, okay, not the best of results, not what I expected to happen, but I'll take 0-0 against Nottingham Forest at home. I'll take that. And just as I say that, we make a mistake, throw-in gets pressured up high up the pitch and counter-attack, and they score. And that's how it goes sometimes. That's how it goes. But now, next week, we go away to Blackpool, and you can see there, look at Blackpool, they are below us in 12th. So, which Mill is going to turn up for that? we've already had, so we've lost 3 games in a row now. Is this going to be our 4th? Who knows? Anyway, that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.